Hey guys, we're here today with Nicole Hallett from Manifested Interiors, and we're going to talk about our most recent design. So we've done a couple different projects together. I think this is probably like our 8th, 9th?
Something like that, right? We've done a lot together.
Okay, let's talk about how we first met.
We first met quite a while ago now. We did a job, I think it was in Irvine together. That was a complete remodel, similar to this, where a complete remodel inside, furniture, decor, everything like that. Yeah. That
was the first job. How did, you reached out with the homeowner to me, right? So how did you guys find me?
Originally?
Yeah.
I think that I originally found you via maybe Yelp?
I think it was Yelp.
I think it was Yelp, yeah. And then, I mean, that client, that was our first project together, and I felt like she was kind of the kickoff, because after that, I mean, she loved us. She was always like, fill in Nicole, fill in Nicole. So that was a great project we did together, and I think that that kind of set the tone for the rest of our projects with how we communicated and worked together.
Yeah, so you guys found me on Yelp. I came in, gave you guys a proposal, met you and the homeowner. You guys had a bad contractor experience prior to me, right?
Yes.
She wasn't happy. I just remember there was a kind of like a bad taste in everyone's mouth with how it ended with the last contractor. I came in, gave him a price, gave you guys all a price to finish it up, and from that initial phase of uncomfortable, kind of not trustworthy or not trusting, we eventually won her over, and then she was stoked on the work, and then you got to see how we operate as opposed to, you know, a shouty contractor.
Yeah, that was when you and I kind of, I think, like got used to each other, right? Like my style and your style, and then we also loved her as a client. We always said, oh, if we could only have Cindy clients, right? Like, oh, her husband was Phil as well. Yeah, Phil and Cindy, we loved them. They were super, super easy to work with. Yeah.
They were
cool. That was a while ago. So I have a lot of clients that will ask me, you know, do you have specific contractors you work with? Do you expect us to find a contractor? I always tell them, you know, I for sure have my contractors I prefer to work with. Definitely with Phil and his crew, what I tell my clients is when they are on your job, they're going to be on your job. So you're not going to, you know, be up at 8 in the morning and be like, why is nobody here? So they come on and they get the job done and they get it done quickly. Definitely, you know, there's a different level of quality because most of the people that work with Phil, they work on his team. They are part of his company. So it's a little bit different than you would get if you hired, you know, Joe Schmo, the contractor from down the street that says he can remodel your house. So, and they're always going to leave the job site clean and all of that. So that's great. And we also know how to work together. So I know, hey, if he's coming on the job on Wednesday, I know all the materials depending on the scope of the project that he's going to need and when he's going to need them. So that also helps to move the project along.
And then so on that job with Cindy, I knew right off the bat how good you were. So everything you recommended as far as materials or finishes, we installed it, and it would look like a polished crystal in front of us. So a lot of times we'll install materials and install things, and who knows, it's like, oh, does the client like this? This is not my taste, but cool, whatever. But when we did your stuff, it was always like, oh wow, this is beautiful. Oh wow, this is cool. Oh, I had no idea you could do this and that. So right off the bat, when we started working with you, we could see your talent. Yeah, so that's what made you stand out from the other designers we've worked for.
And I felt like you were very open to like pushing boundaries, because with her we had those black quartzite slabs, right? That were so unique. And I remember we had ordered like a black sink, and I mean, they were a very modern job, but I remember, I think I probably called you, you know, or text you in the middle of the night saying like, Phil, could we do an integrated quartzite sink? And you were like, I guess. And so we did that, and we had never done that. So that was super cool. And so the quartzite went right into the bowl and was part of it. That was really cool.
Totally. And the midnight texts, I don't know, homeowners out there, whoever is out there, and you're wondering if your designer is taking your job home with her or whatever, Nicole is thinking about your job 24/7. I would get texts not 1 in the morning, but just like midnight. It's like, oh my goodness, did we think about how the sink was going to align with and I'm like, I had to put my phone on silent. Because of the text. She would take your job home with her, dream about it, wake up, come up with solutions. I would wake up in the morning at 7 o'clock, turn my phone on, and I get 10 texts from Nicole talking about the job. So yes, you're obsessed about the job, which is good, which is awesome.
But I always tell my clients and contractors, I say, hey, I'm kind of always working. So like, you know, especially with clients, I say, I go at your pace, right? So if your husband, you say, hey, did you see the 3 texts from Nicole? It's always like, we all have busy lives. So when you're ready, you get back to me when you're ready to get back to me. And, but we go at your pace. You know, the client has to obviously set the pace that's comfortable for them in the job. Yeah.
And I remember you told me one time, you said to the client, turn your phone on airplane mode when you sleep because I don't want...
sleep mode,
Yeah. So you have a new client, they're interested in working with you. How does the process work? What's the initial step? How do you get to find their vision?
So when I first do an initial client consultation, right, it's about an hour in the home. We walk through the home together. We talk about, what do you love in your home? What do you not love in your home? Are there any important pieces that need to stay in your home? You know, is there sentimental value? All of that. So once we have a proposal and the client says, yeah, I'm ready to go, the first step from there is doing this inspiration phase, or I call it the inspo phase. And that would be me sending the client a bunch of different photos, or we sit down and go through photos of all different designs and really seeing what they gravitate towards. I do meet with some clients that already have things saved, right? So they'll show me a photo in a magazine or something on Pinterest, and they're like, we love this. And that's great. Whenever people have stuff to give me, that's really helpful. But also just going through all these photos with them helps me to see what they gravitate towards. So a husband and wife might say, we love all the colors in that photo, but it just feels a little too rustic for us. Or we love everything about that photo, but we don't like how the tables are glass. So kind of going through like what they gravitate towards helps me see like what is it that feels good to them when they look at it. A lot of clients that I meet, they actually don't know what their style is. So they'll say, you know, like, we don't know. We know when we look at it, but we don't really know like what category we would be put in, or what name you would give our style. So for me, it's really just trying to tune in and figure out like what feels good so that I know when the project is done, it will feel like their home. It will feel like their space, feel good to them.
So you're basically trying to give someone something that makes them feel good, but up to date?
Exactly.
Got you.
Yeah, and not designed to my taste, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously as a designer, I can appreciate all the different styles, but at the end of the day, I don't live in the home, right? So when I leave the job, what's most important to me is that they are in their home and they love it. So I'll always guide them in what I think is best when I already know what their style is, right? What they gravitate towards, what I think will help them achieve that, the decisions. But I always say to clients, hey, at the end of the day, this is your home. I don't live here. So if there's something that you're like, hey, we love this, then great, let's figure out how to incorporate that in.
So on this in particular job in Laguna Niguel, what was the vision behind this remodel?
So these clients really wanted to bring an updated feel to the home. They wanted to feel light, bright, fresh. They had really dark kitchen. They had the flow from the inside to the outside didn't exist, right? So they really wanted to just open the home up, have a light, bright, fresh feel. They definitely like some modern touches, but they wanted some pops of color in there. So like navy blue they loved that. So the slabs we picked for the kitchen had it was a natural quartzite. It had some navy blue veinage in it. Same with the sofa. So there were different pieces in the home that have little pops of navy, but other than that, it's a very natural kind of modern feel. So there's a lot of like blacks and whites and taupes and things like that. So they were definitely light, bright, and fresh.
So looking at the final product now as we sit in it, how well does this match your vision?
This project definitely exceeded my vision. As you know, we kind of added things as we went along, right?
Changes.
So yeah, there was a lot of changes. You know, that happens with clients. Like we'll tell them, hey, we've hit, you know, this process. Do you want to do this? So they definitely added as we went along.
Totally. A ton,
yeah. So their quartzite countertops were one of my favorite. I mean, they are just absolutely stunning. Actually, the slab yard we went to, and the team that I work with there, they've all worked there for over 20 years, and these were new slabs. So they were brand new. They came out of a quarry. They had never been purchased before.
Whoa.
So, which was really cool, right? So we do a lot of quartzite. I know you and I both love quartzite. And we do a lot of some of the same stuff, right? Like that we love, they're beautiful, but it's cool to do something that's brand new and fresh and unique. So these had big chunks of white in it and some of that navy blue veinage. So those were really fun, really cool. There's some of my favorite slabs that I've ever done.
Yeah, definitely slabs. They look like, it looks like a stormy.
Yeah, they're so cool. And then obviously the windows were one of the best parts of this project because it really opened up the home, right? This was a wall before, and over past the kitchen where we have a pass-through window now, all of that was closed up. So now it's just completely transformed the home. It's also added a ton of light to the home, but now when they are hanging out inside, they can interact with the people, their children, their guests that are hanging out outside. So our stacking doors, those are, you know, amazing. And the pass-through window to the outdoor bar with the fire pit. I mean, we just made such a great flow, a great entertaining space.